There we are. Red lights on. It's the Baco Motorsports Power Hour. I'm Mike Griffith, longtime Bakersfield, California motorsports rider. This is June 1st or May 31st. Almost June 1st.
May 31st.
May 31st. This is the fourth year of the Power Hour. First segment here, I've got Steve Hughes in from Kern County Raceway Park, just in, out of breath.
I mean, just sliding in.
Ran up the
stairs?
stairs?
Ran up the stairs, yes.
That must have been difficult. Of course, you do stairs out at the racetrack.
I do. I feel pretty good about the way I ran up the stairs. It wasn't too bad.
Well, that's good.
Sorry, I put you in a little bit of a panic there.
How was your Memorial Day weekend?
It was great.
Was it?
It was fantastic.
Lots of barbecuing?
Yeah. Spent some time with family and had a very great friend offer us up a house, so it was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I spent mine doing yard work.
Oh, boy. I feel for you.
As usual.
I feel for you, man.
Yeah, so we'll get into this. This is the first segment of the show. Talk about a lot of different things on the national basis, and got our slide there. Entering the show, we've done the American slide because we love America, especially on Memorial Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we've got the Fast Trip All Area Motorsports team.
That's coming up.
Yeah, well, everybody's preparing for it because they're racing. So what this will be our third annual team where we kind of honor motorsports drivers, much like we do the all-area prep athletes. Started Lewis Amistoy, decided that was a good thing to do about 3 years ago, so we did it, and it's going to come up in December. Win 3 races on an oval track, you're in. 2 on a drag strip. Win a big race, you're probably in, and be nice to me, you might be in. Maybe.
My fingers are crossed. Maybe I'll make the team this year.
Maybe Steve Hughes. So that'll be coming up, so I keep track of that, so look forward to that. We had 60 athletes on that. Last
awesome.
December. So.
Yeah, thanks to Fast Trip.
Yeah, thank you, Fast Trip. And as for that, we've pretty big weekend of racing, a lot of barbecuing and watching racing for people.
Huge weekend.
And we will start it out with a video that Chris has.
Nice.
Pretty spectacular video.
On the pole, but man, it was a rough day for him. Let's go right to lap 53. Dixon getting into a crash with Jay Howard, airborne and slamming the inside wall.
Yeah, this is just the worst situation that you can see, certainly for a driver in this situation, a slower car right there. You're going 220 miles an hour, not much that you can do, and then becoming airborne. As I sat and watched this, just in fear, in knowing Scott Dixon, but a great testament to the durability of these vehicles.
Yeah, so,
wow.
So Scott Dixon, that was not too far into the race, a bit into it.
And walked away.
And he walked away.
Yeah.
And that spectacular crash, 220 miles an hour, and just you can see just lifted up. There's pretty good. We got a still shot here. His in-car camera worked for a while, and it was pretty spectacular.
Till he hit the soft wall there. I mean, nearly
hit the soft wall. Nearly right on the cockpit, and we've seen that before. I've seen back in the day when I was covering it, Rick Mears upside down skidding, upside down the front straightaway, on which
they have that roll bar,
the little roll bar,
but I mean
protecting them.
It's that big. It's literally that big that they're sliding on.
And so I saw a story, somebody I don't even know the writer, so I don't know if I'll just say I don't know who it was, but it was on Yahoo Sports, saying it's time to end the open cockpits. Well, if you end open cockpits, you end open wheel racing. Is there a way maybe to have the more of the driver's head covered? Certainly, I think this is something you always look at something like that and say that close. So maybe you want more of the roll cage going over the helmet. Makes it a little harder to get out if you have to get out, but they'll figure something out and make them a little bit safer. You always do. You see an accident like that, and you're thankful that nothing happened.
But it was that close.
It was that close, and pretty spectacular racing there. And that was when Mr. Sato passed Helio Castroneves.
5 to go.
5 to go.
Didn't relinquish the lead and becomes the first Japanese driver to win the Indy 500
and
taste the milk.
Taste the milk. He chugged half that milk, then poured the rest on top, and he was so elated in victory lane there at Indianapolis, and that's just a great deal. And I understand there was a Denver columnist in Denver who apparently
former Denver columnist,
columnist who yapped about that's not right, a Japanese driver winning. Well, was it wrong when Emerson Fittipaldi won from Brazil? Right. So, I mean, what's the deal?
And I mean, I don't really want to spend a lot of time on this, but that journalist is German. So I mean, what's he pointing out? Is he talking? You know, and
I
we
mean,
know that
it's
Eddie.
open to R, and let's face
Yeah.
it, they're in the field's got some Americans in it.
Right.
Not a whole lot that are going to win the race.
Sure.
So,
But, thankfully last year, the 100th running, Californian American racer won the 100th running of the Indy 500.
so-
But what a race. I mean, a lot of crashes, fuel strategy coming into play, and it just played right into Takuma's hands. So.
and we show this. I put that slide up because two best trophies in all of sports:
yeah.
the Borg Warner Trophy
Uh-huh.
and the Stanley Cup.
I agree with that.
And there's absolutely nothing that comes close to them because they're perpetual trophies. I mean, you get your mug on the Borg Warner Trophy.
Right.
What is better than that?
I know.
You get
for
your name on the Stanley
perpetuity.
Cup,
Yeah.
and it's there, and they go, and it's just that is one of the greatest trophies around. And I think it's good to see somebody come out of it and win. It wasn't a fuel mileage race.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit of does he have it, and then it was just go.
Right.
So I really prefer that over a fuel mileage race.
Sure.
Just get out there, win the race,
But
and
pit strategy was it. Pit strategy was the key.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Their strategy. It's
Yeah.
500 miles.
Yeah.
And let's say there's been many races won or lost on pit strategy at Indianapolis, but it's such a tough race. And we had a slide there earlier of Fernando Alonso,
Mm-hmm.
which was he got a lot of airtime and a lot of people talking about
Thought he
him.
was even the favorite to win.
Favorite, and he ran well, led a couple laps, and then the engine let go in his Honda, but. We're getting more of that. Lewis Hamilton kind of badmouthed him. We'll get more of that at the tail end of this segment.
I want to talk about the car owner of Takuma, Sato, Andretti.
Mr. Michael Andretti.
Yeah, and the heartbreak that we've seen the Andretti family go through in the Indy 500 now with 5 Indy 500 wins as car owners.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I covered the one when Michael was leading late and broke down the back stretch, and our headline was a quote that he said over the radio. I can't friggin' believe it.
Yeah, might not have been friggin'.
It was friggin'.
Oh, was it?
He's East Coast. He's Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Friggin' is
that's
common term.
Right.
So anyway, we'll quickly move on to another little race that started afterwards. And I'll be honest, I came in after working in the yard
Yeah.
to watch this race. Looked at my VCR and my recorder DVR, whatever they are nowadays, and I'm going, uh-oh. So I'm going around, I check Twitter, and I'm going, well, it's still on. So rain delay, so I got to see the last 68 laps. I don't feel I missed a thing.
You didn't.
I didn't miss a thing. I saw a fuel mileage win.
We went to the beach, came back home, had dinner, still waited on it, and then got to see the, yeah.
Because there we have, it was Mr. Dillon doing a
Belly
burpee,
slide.
a little burpee, they call it football days, where you go do burpees and burpees and
Yeah.
more burpees until you puked.
Yes.
But anyway, this was a fun one. Very happy there in Victory Lane. And a fuel mileage win for him because he eked it out, ran out on the last gas, and it might have done a tiny burnout. Before,
About a 3-second burnout
About
before
a
he ran out of fuel. Yeah.
little smoke, and that was done.
That was it.
So had to push the car to Victory Lane. But his first ever win on the Cup Series, and good for him. It's always good, as I say, a new winner. It's not a bad thing.
And the Coke 600 has produced many first-time winners in the Cup Series.
Casey Mears, Bakersfield, among
Yep.
them. His only win, also 2007, I believe, a fuel mileage
Yep.
win. So again, pit strategy, a light pressure on the throttle,
Yeah.
and a little luck, and you get your win.
Well, you saw Jimmy Johnson run out with 3 laps to go, and then Dillon taking the lead with 2 laps to go.
And then Kyle Busch coming on.
I thought for sure he was going to run out of fuel. I thought no way he can go 2 extra laps longer than the
Johnson
Hendrick
did.
and then the Hendricks cars.
And he
so
did.
He certainly did.
So good for him. Kevin Harvick sat on the pole, finished 8th. Not a great run for Kevin. Okay. Moves him back into now he's in the points lead. Martin Truex Jr. On top. He led the most laps. For whatever that's worth. He led
Bonus
the most
point
laps.
here and
Bonus
there,
point
yeah.
here. But it
Won a stage. Truex did.
yeah, so there's the points, 16 bonus points. Kyle Larson, 7 bonus points. Brad with 12. Kevin Harvick with 3 because all he's got is stage wins. Still looking for the win. He is very consistent on race day. Just hasn't been fast at the finish yet.
Right.
And
I think how did he describe it? Runs like a bat out of hell for the first 5 laps, then slowly but surely loses rear grip is how he described his car in the 600.
yeah, so Not too worried about them. I think
No.
they're going to find their way to victory circle before it's over. Xfinity Series ran on Saturday. Ryan Reed finished 11th. He ran much better than that during much of the race. He finished second in a segment, I think, or fourth. So he was up there in the segment wins, and he was up higher than that late in the race and then fell back after the last restart to 11th. So probably not too happy with that 11th place finish because he was a top 10 car.
He was competitive,
for sure.
yeah, definitely was.
Competitive. Casey Mears, not a strong day there. He finished 21st and ran back in that area, lead lap all day long. So Elliott Sadler, not a good finish. I will say that Casey Mears and Ryan Reed both had better days than Elliott, who ended up in a late race crash and kind of destroyed the car. But Elliott Sadler, 2 bonus points because he hasn't got a win yet. Justin Allgaier won that race. So he's the first Xfinity Series driver other than Ryan Reed, I believe, to get the win race for the 5 bonus points. So he's got 7 bonus points. William Byron with 1, Daniel Hemrick with 1, Darrell Wallace Jr. with none, and I think Ryan is 6th in points with his 5 bonus points for a win. So there you go on the Xfinity Series.
Can we talk about the Monaco Grand Prix?
We've got a slide on that.
All right.
We can show
now
that.
that's
And
the Formula One race I enjoy watching.
Now let's talk about that because I've recorded it and I've not yet watched it.
Oh boy, I only caught the highlights.
You only caught the highlights
Because you got to get up. You got to get up early.
Well, that's why I recorded
on
it
Sunday to watch that one.
So, but Ferrari 1-2 at Monaco. The Mercedeses did not do well, and maybe that's a bit of poetic justice because Lewis Hamilton was running his mouth about Alonso not being a pretty crappy qualifying effort at 5th for, because he's a big 2-time Formula One champion.
Right.
And that's pretty crappy qualifying effort, and he should have done much better than that. And I say, come on over and give it a try.
Yep. Whenever you're ready there.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah.
4 laps there. I'm sure he would do well, but not if he's not in a competitive car. If he's in an Andretti car, like Alonso, yeah, I'm sure Mr. Hamilton's going to do well. But I'm so tired of this I'm better than you stuff. I mean, and there is prompted on a Facebook feed I have a bunch of people talking about, well, there's too many back markers at Indy. Hey, folks, there's back markers at every level of racing, from Bakersfield Speedway to Kern County Raceway Park to Formula One. You have the heavy hitters. You have some people pretty close. You have mid-packers, and you have back markers, and it's that way at every level of racing at every track throughout the world.
Agreed.
And, enough with you. And I'm just tired of it. People thinking there's too many back markers.
I don't know if there's a better scene than seeing those cars go through the streets of Monaco. That is just beautiful. And there's the one, I think it's kind of a curved kind of straightaway that goes in front of the bay there.
Yeah.
And that's just my favorite shot.
Yeah. Could you afford to get into Monaco?
No, absolutely
not. Could you afford a glass of water in Monaco?
Maybe. I mean, but just getting there would be
but probably not the beer.
No. Unless Budweiser wants to, fly me over there and just, I'll wear the Budman suit, whatever it takes for the Monaco Grand Prix.
But that's not the greatest course for them to run on because you can't hardly pass at Monaco. But it's just going through the streets of Monaco and all the rich. It is the F1. It's the IndyCar equivalent would be the Long Beach Grand Prix, which F1 is trying to come back to. And it started. The Indy
can
Grand
pass
Prix
there.
Started with F1 in a couple places.
In a couple spots.
About 2 places.
Yeah. Well,
3 if you push it, maybe.
I just like that streets of anywhere kind of racing.
Yeah.
As long as it's a closed course, of course.
Okay. Coming up in the end of the segment, real quick, a little late model race at Madeira last Saturday night. Buddy Shepard took the checkered flag. Did not pass a post-race technical inspection on engine setback, which I understand they are continuing to talk about because it's the same setback and the same engine he's been teched on many times before.
Yes.
So there seems to be some talk going on because it's 1.5 inches, and that's what it says.
He also made a trip to Virginia as a tryout.
He made a trip to Virginia last week and right before then, and got delayed a day because of rain to run in a K&N East car, but it's kind of thing where they need some funding. And so if they can find some funding, maybe he runs in a K&N East series. So
pretty cool opportunity.
So we'll see on that. Apparently right now, Buddy Shepard was disqualified, but we'll see what's happening. check back next week. We'll be back with the Kern County Raceway Park segment coming up in just a minute.